first impressions, looks pretty nice. There is quite a bit of waviness on the screen, but that's all right. And I think what I like the most is you can see it's very nicely written that it is proudly made in India, not just made in India, which is awesome. Looks pretty alright. Okay, there's a small punch hole kind of, if you can see it, right? That is the place from where the liquid actually goes into the mold and the windshield takes shape. The finishes are a little sharp, but I think that will be not noticed once we put the molds on. Looks nice. This is a quick review of the Carbon Racing windshield that they've got for most of the bike with 7-inch headlamp.
I think it is 7-inch. I'm not sure.
What is the name of this one?
Carbon Racing.
No, they had a name, dude.
For the model?
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a name? I don't remember. Because anyway, this is the only one available.
Okay, this is the only one available. We'll find the name and put it in the description.
Yeah.
So we've so far done about 125 kilometers on this one. We've touched close to about 140 roughly, and we were more or less regular on 110, 120. And I had the Himalayan windshield on this with the MK Designs mount. Zain Baba had the Royal Enfield fly screen.
Yeah, the tall fly.
The tall fly screen, or what they claim at least,
yeah.
right? The 4-inch, whatever it is. Yeah. So we are going to quickly share our views right now, and you can probably then decide how this works for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll quickly go on to Zain Baba.
So I came from the tall fly screen, like Avinash had said, and basically at about 140, I felt like it was about 100, 110, and I couldn't really feel anything on my chest. You know, the wind blast on my chest anymore. It was still a little more prominent on the shoulders and on your arms, and it really pushes you back a little bit. But it's not as bad as the fly screen, I'm sure, because the fly screen really didn't do much. But overall, I'm actually happy with it because I can cruise at about 120 with no particular hardship at all. So from that perspective, it looks alright. It's pretty sturdy. It doesn't move at all. I couldn't feel anything, but at about 100 110, I could hear a small whistling sound, which I never saw before. It was more of a car horn rather than a whistling sound. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's very sturdy, but I would advise you get it with the what is he calling that? Stabilizing rods or whatever, because without that, I could, without actually applying these to the handlebar, you can actually see a fair bit of movement. Now you can see that it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to move at all. So it's pretty good. It's really good at high speed, especially. You don't feel anything on your chest. The wind hits you about, so I'm about 5'11"-ish. So it hits me about the eye level at 120. But apart from that, you do feel it on the shoulders. So there's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of turbulence. Also, what I noticed was if you've got a phone mount which is on outside the the impact zone of your windshield, my phone was moving around quite a lot. I mean, it was just vibrating on the top end. So I would advise, if you've got one of these, put it in the center right above your console, so that it's in your eye line, and at the same time it doesn't get affected by that. But yeah, that's pretty much it about the windshield from my perspective.
Okay, so as I told you, I had a Himalayan windshield, and this is about 4.5 inches taller than that, and slightly wider on the lower base. So you get a little bit of gushing of wind all around your shoulders, like what Zain was saying. But that is alright, because the one Himalayan didn't have even the extended, so I used to get all of it all over here. At about 120, it's very good, so you don't feel as much. I am 6'2", so I felt about middle of my nose, and I generally slightly duck when I'm at that speed, so around nose level, and anything over that, then slowly it starts coming down. I mean, at about say 140, 145, I could feel the wind right here. Okay, and that is the limit at which I think we'll push this windscreen for. Anything more than that, you're going to be shaking your head all over the place. And like Zain said, it is very, very sturdy, and I was observing this while I was doing good speeds. barely any vibration, absolutely none. And that is one thing that is very impressive, and these rods are definitely very important. I think they help you to hold them together and also lessen the vibration if there is anything without that. Other than that, I think it is a very good looking windscreen, and if you don't have a windshield, then this is a very good one to have. If you already have the Himalayan one with the MK design, it's more of a little bit of a progress from there, maybe half an inch of wind here and there. So the Himalayan one used to hit me right here at 120, this one is hitting me here, so it's about inch and a half, and anything more than that it keeps going down. And the gushing on the shoulders are alright, it's not too bad, and I think without the windshield it's even worse, so I think you're good. And as you can see, it looks brilliant, and all the mounts are very well done, and the finishing is alright. We found a couple of nugs here and there, but then that's nothing that you have to worry about as such. And what else? I think it doesn't obstruct your view at all. So when you're actually riding, right, it doesn't, although this is quite big, you look beyond this, you don't look through this as much. So that's the reason I don't think we have any problem with this. This was supposed to be a light smoked, and it is, I would consider a black. I wonder what the black is. I think black is pretty much like shades, you can't see anything, but this is a light smoke version, but I think this is a maximum you can have dark. Anything darker, I don't think is going to serve the purpose as much. One more thing that I noticed in the night, right, so the speedometer lights come on and it reflects from the windshield back, and those look cool. And when you switch on the indicator, one side goes orange, as you would expect. It's not too obstructing on the eye, but something that you have to be mindful of. Other than that, I think it's a very good build. I think the price is extremely reasonable. I don't think you have anything better right now in the market, so might as well look at this as an option if you want one. And so this is how dark it is, but it is not something, I mean, now we barely have any light, so it's kind of cloudy and it's kind of early morning, but otherwise also you can still see through it. I don't think there's a problem to see through it, but it's going to be slightly darker.
Yeah, but while riding it, you did notice that you don't really look through it at all.
Correct. I think you look at it beyond that.
Yeah, you always look ahead of it, especially on highway rides and stuff like that. Maybe in the city, once in a while, you might see a cat go by or a dog go by, and you might look through it for it. But otherwise, I don't see you necessarily wanting to look at that particular position while you're riding it. So yeah, it's a good height, and it actually complements the looks of the bike rather than, you know, standing out as something which is like an, you know, something that's not part of the bike. It actually blends in very well, especially with the black, because I've got the Orange Crush, so not everything is black in that. So, you know, it still blends in alright in that, but this, it really looks good on this bike, because everything, the whole theme of the bike is black anyway.
It looks good on both the colors. It just looks more complementing on this. I think it's because of the black tone on the tank that starts off with. Really, and actually looks pretty cool, to be very honest. Yeah. And one more thing you will notice is this gap. Okay, while we are close to it, you observe there's a gap, and probably because it's all dark shade, the farther you go, you don't see that much of a gap, and actually looks quite stunning, to be honest.
Yeah, one of the suggestions that I had gotten from one of my cousins who's also a biker is, you know, those rubber seals that you get on top of your car, and, you know, so that there's no gap when you shut the door. You can take one of those seals and put it here just to, you know, smallen the gap, or, you know, little the gap, and that will probably, you know, help the look a little bit better. But functionally, I think this is absolutely fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Like Zain Baba said, right, you can always fix this gap with that rubber, but I think it is okay to be here. It helps you to clean, right? Your finger goes in quite well. I think it helps you to clean that way.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was one of my biggest complaints with the Fly Shield, that you could never actually get your hand to clean the top of the headlight. Variable depending upon what your look is right now. So if you've got no windshield at the moment, if you've got a naked headlight right now, without any windshield, it'll probably take you about an hour, 15 minutes, depending upon if you've got the stabilizing rods. And my recommendation is get it with the stabilizing rods. But if you just have the windshield, it'll probably take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But if you got the stabilizing rod, you need to like put all of this together first and then fix it on. And you can actually go ahead and look at our video in which we've actually installed it on this bike. With this, you know, it's going to take you hour and a half. If you are very familiar with DIY and fixing stuff, it'll probably take you an hour at best. But, you know, do look for tips on the other video for that. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that.
So there you go. I think this is pretty much all that we wanted to cover. If you have any questions, we will leave you an email address. You can reach out or drop in a comment. We don't promise we'll respond to the comments as much, but email us. Definitely we will. So that's about it.